Ella.
I can still feel the pulsing vibration of the jet's engines as Roman and I disembark. The planes hushed were still lodged in my ears. The Northern Territory is brutal, with winds that slice through your clothes, rattling your very bones. Tall pines and firs stretched skywards like an army of ancient warriors standing sentinel. Despite the frigid beauty, a sense of foreboding tightens the air. Something is terribly wrong here. Roman looks tense. Even from my peripheral vision, I can see the cords of his neck straining, and his jaw clenched in an almost animalistic way. He's been on the phone the entire flight, speaking in Russian and what sounded like Romanian, conversations laced with urgency and dark premonitions. The playful, flirty Alpha from hours ago has morphed into someone more somber, more distant. We take a black SUV from the airstrip, driving through a web of unmarked roads until we reach the first crime scene. As Roman steps out, I follow suit, bracing myself against the biting wind. With a gloved hand, he opens a wooden gate that has seen better days. Its creak reverberates, an eerie welcome to the tragic tableau. Roman walks in with purpose, eyes scanning every inch of the snowy ground and the cottage that stands desolate in the middle of nowhere. I join him, my own senses alert, though I lack the werewolf sharpness of his. He kneels to examine something on the ground, then rises, frowning. "Something's missing," he mutters, a cloud of vapor forming with each syllable in the cold air. His gaze meets mine, deep wells of perplexity and restrained fury. There should be something more, a scent, a mark, something. He pulls out his phone, dialing a number. The phone rings, but nobody answers. "Fuck's sakes, Caden!" Roman hisses, redoubling his efforts. Again, the call goes unanswered. A growl erupts from Roman's chest. It's a sound that would terrify any living creature in its path. "Damn it!" He pockets the phone and turns to me. "Ella, I don't like this. I don't like any of this. It's like a jigsaw puzzle missing its most crucial piece." I nod, unable to voice what's bubbling inside me, a blend of unease, curiosity, and the need to help solve this puzzle. "Do you think it's another pack?" I finally ask, watching as his azure eyes probe the scene one more time. Even if it were, they'd leave some sign, a territorial scratch at least. But this, he waves his hand around the emptiness, is like a void. Like they wanted us to know they could break all the rules. He steps closer to me, eyes never leaving mine. "Promise me something," he says, his voice a whisper against the wintry air. "Promise me you'll stay close. I can't protect you if you're not close." My heart hitches at the sincerity of his words, at the raw vulnerability in them. It's a look I've rarely seen on Roman, the alpha, the leader. I nod, my own vulnerability mirroring his. As we pull up to the next crime scene, Roman's grip on the steering wheel is white-knuckled, almost as if he's holding on to his own restraint. I reach over and place my hand on his, reminding him of our promises, of unity, of shared burdens. He takes a deep breath, his eyes meeting mine for a moment that feels suspended in time. Then we both exit the vehicle, stepping once more into the frozen unknown, armed with little more than our promises, and the hope that it will be enough. We're both keenly aware that the man who always seems to have answers has none, that the weight of pack leadership feels particularly heavy today. And yet, there's an understanding that this burden isn't his alone to carry anymore. As Roman once again begins his meticulous examination, muttering to himself in an indecipherable mix of frustration and concentration, I can't shake off the feeling that something monumental is about to unfold. Gone are his playful grins and winks, replaced by a frigid professionalism that puts miles between us, even in this small space. His free hand clenches and unclenches at his side, betraying an inner tension that his controlled voice fails to disclose. When he finally hangs up, he sighs heavily, pinching the bridge of his nose. "Is everything okay?" I finally ask, breaking the silence. "It will be," he replies, his voice curt. "It has to be." "Something's missing," he says again, more to himself than to me. "Something crucial, something I can't put my finger on." His eyes scan every detail, the layout, the subtle disturbances, even the air itself, as if trying to wrestle answers from them. His jaw clenches, and his hands briefly tremble before he regains control. He tries to call Caden again, his fingers stabbing at the phone with uncommon force. After a few moments, he curses, shoving the device back into his pocket. He's not picking up. Why the hell is he not picking up? He murmurs, shaking his head and looking close to exploding. I've never seen Roman lose his composure, not like this. He punches the wall, the thud echoing in the empty house, and I flinch involuntarily. He takes a few deep breaths, visibly trying to calm himself. Do you want to talk about it? I ask cautiously. 2 heads are better than 1, right? He looks at me, his eyes simmering with a mixture of frustration and something I can't quite name. What do you see, Aella? You have a keen mind, you see things others don't. Tell me, what's missing here? I pause, surveying the room. It's too clean. It's as if someone wanted us to find these places. No signs of struggle, no forced entry, and no traces of the people who lived here. It's like they vanished. He nods, taking in my observations. That's what has been bothering me, but it's more than that. It's as if whatever did this knew exactly what we'd look for and gave us just enough to keep us in the dark. For the first time, I see vulnerability in Roman's eyes, a raw edge of uncertainty. I walk over to him and take his hand, squeezing it reassuringly, but then he lets go of my hand and continues his search. I feel like I've just been brushed off, but I don't say a thing. The ride to the hotel afterward is filled with an uncomfortable silence. Roman's eyes are glued to his phone, scrolling through documents and photographs related to the case. I can tell his mind is miles away, submerged in the dark maze of this investigation. He's booked us rooms at a swanky downtown hotel, but the opulence of our surroundings barely registers to him. He's still immersed in his digital world even as we step into the lavish lobby adorned with crystal chandeliers and plush furnishings. Here we are, he says mechanically, handing me a key card. Thanks, I reply, holding the card as if it might shatter in my hand. I nod, feeling a growing chasm between us. I want to bridge it, to reach him, but the words get stuck in my throat. Roman, have you considered the possibility that this might be an inside job? Given how clean the crime scenes are, it could be someone who knows our methods. His eyes flick up to meet mine, but they're cold, distant. I've considered every possibility, Aella. Right now, I don't need theories. I need facts. I wince at his words, though I try not to show it. Okay. I was just trying to help. I know you are, he says, his voice slightly softer but still tinged with irritation. Let's just regroup in the morning. Roman tosses his leather jacket onto the armchair and turns on the table lamp, casting a muted glow that somewhat alleviates the room's sterile ambience. He spreads the stack of reports and crime scene photos on the small desk by the window. I just don't understand what I'm missing, he mutters to himself again, running his hands through his hair in visible frustration. Something's off. It's like staring at a puzzle with a missing piece, and it's driving me insane. I approach cautiously, not wanting to break his focus, but still feeling the pull to be part of whatever is burdening him. So I hover near him, glancing at the papers strewn across the desk. The graphic images of the families, gone in a blink, are chilling. Do you mind if I take a look? Maybe a fresh pair of eyes will, I start, my words trailing off as he cuts me off with a wave of his hand. Not now, Aella, he says, his voice tinged with an abruptness that stings. I need to figure this out, and I can't afford distractions. I reel back slightly, surprised by his curt dismissal. I've seen Roman focused, even stressed, but this level of barely contained fury is new. It's like he's at war with himself and the invisible enemy who did this, with no room left for me in the equation. Okay, I murmur, giving him a nod. I'll be over here if you need me. I retreat to the other side of the room, settling onto the edge of the bed. I pick up a travel magazine from the nightstand, aimlessly flipping through pages filled with vibrant photos of places I doubt I'll ever see. But my eyes keep drifting back to Roman. He's like a storm cloud, dark and heavy with an energy that begs for release. Minutes stretch into an hour, and all I hear is the rustling of papers and Roman's muffled curses. He tries calling Caden again, but the call goes unanswered. He slams his fist onto the desk. Damn it, Cade! My heart goes out to him, but it's mixed with a pinch of resentment. I thought we were in this together, that our relationship had grown strong enough for us to face these kinds of challenges side by side. But at this moment, I feel shut out, superfluous. I consider approaching him again, but hesitate, wary of another rebuff. Maybe this is part of the package of being with Roman, the high walls, the closed doors. Or perhaps it's the weight of pack leadership descending upon him, molding him into a shape that doesn't quite fit the space he'd created for me in his life. Finally, I rise, setting the unread magazine back on the nightstand. I'm going to bed, I say, hoping to get something out of him. For a second, I think I see something in his eyes, a flicker of regret. But it's gone before I can be sure, replaced by that Romanesque wall of focus. Sure, do what you need to do, he says, not looking up from the reports. I'm actually taken aback by his dismissive tone, and how he's actually allowing this to drive a wedge between us. I slip out of the room, closing the door quietly behind me. As I walk down the hallway, I can't help but feel like I've left a part of myself behind, locked away in a room filled with unsolvable puzzles and a man I thought I knew.
Ella.
As I enter our room, the emptiness hits me. I take in the luxurious bed, the gleaming marble bathroom, and the city view framed by floor-to-ceiling windows. But it all feels hollow, like a glamorous shell without a soul. Roman's urgency is all-consuming, and it pains me to think of him shutting me out while he dives deeper into the abyss he's staring into. I change into pajamas and crawl into bed. The sheets are soft and inviting, but they offer no comfort. As I lie there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, my thoughts keep drifting back to Roman. I know he's not intentionally being rude or dismissive, he's stressed and burdened by the weight of the case. But understanding the reasons doesn't lessen the hurt. It doesn't fill the growing space between us, a void filled with unsaid words and missed opportunities for connection. After about 20 minutes of tossing and turning, I return to the hotel room, still wrestling with my own thoughts. When I open the door, I see that Roman has barely moved, if at all. The tension in the room feels almost palpable, like a thick fog that neither of us can navigate through. Roman, it's getting late. Maybe you should take a break. I suggest, my voice softer this time, filled with a mixture of concern and tentative hope. He finally lifts his head, meeting my eyes for the first time since we've been back. A break? Ella, I don't have time for a break. I know this is important, but exhausting yourself won't help anyone. I reply, feeling a lump form in my throat. You're running on fumes, and it's affecting your judgment. And your manners. I add, not able to completely hide the hurt. My manners? This isn't about etiquette, Ella, this is about lives hanging in the balance. Families have been destroyed. And I get that. I snap, taking a step forward, my patience fraying. Do you think I'm not affected by all of this? Those were our people, Roman, people under our banner. I want to find whoever did this as much as you do. Then let me do my job, he shouts, rising from his chair. I can't have you hovering around, questioning my methods. You're not a detective, you don't know what this involves. At least I know that pushing away the people who care about you isn't the answer. I retort, my voice trembling. I know you're under a lot of pressure, but so am I. We're supposed to be in this together, remember? For better or worse. Frustration, exhaustion, and an unidentified emotion appear to fill his eyes as he runs his hand through his hair once again. You think I want to push you away? He finally says, his voice breaking a little. I'm trying to protect you, Ella. From the ugliness, the brutality. I don't want you to have to carry this darkness with you. Protect me? Or protect yourself from showing weakness? I counter. Because right now, it feels like you're using your work as a shield, keeping everyone at arm's length. And I get it, Roman, I do. But if you keep everyone out, you're the one who ends up alone. I take a deep breath, choosing my words carefully. I get that this case is important, but that doesn't give you the right to dismiss me. I'm here to help. I'm your partner in this, not just some tag-along to be brushed off. He looks at me, his eyes narrowing. When have I ever treated you as a tag-along? I'm just focused, Ella. This case is complex, and I need to concentrate. By shutting me out? We're supposed to be a team, Roman. Now, it feels like you're on a solo mission and I'm just there. You're not even listening to my ideas. He clenches his jaw. I am listening, but I'm also filtering. I can't afford to chase down every theory. So my ideas are what? Distractions. I feel my face heat up, a mix of hurt and indignation bubbling within me. No, but they're not actionable right now. And what we need, are solid leads. His voice rises slightly, mirroring my own frustration. I shake my head, feeling a surge of sadness wash over me. If you don't trust my judgment, maybe I shouldn't be here. Maybe you'd be better off alone. The words hang heavy in the air between us, the tension palpable. For a moment, Roman looks like he's about to say something, his expression softening. But then he looks away, as if retreating back into his protective shell. There's complete silence, save for the distant hum of the city outside. He stares at me, his eyes searching mine, as if weighing the truth of my words. But nothing comes. If that's how you feel, then fine. I'll see you in the morning. As I turn and walk out of the room, a torrent of emotions swirls inside me. I'm angry, hurt, and above all, disappointed. But I push those feelings aside as I step into my own room, closing the door softly behind me. I guess some distances can't be bridged, no matter how close you are physically. Roman's words echo in my mind as I slip into bed. I can't afford to be distracted. I wonder, when did I become a distraction rather than a partner? And how did we end up so far apart?
Ella.
The first thing I sense as I awaken is not the soft morning light filtering through the curtains or the luxurious comfort of the hotel bed. It's Roman, his energy and scent fills the space around me, enveloping me like a protective shroud. I can feel the warmth radiating from his body as he lies curled around me from behind. Before I can even open my eyes, I feel his lips brush softly against my shoulder, a tender kiss that instantly dispels the lingering tension from last night. A second kiss follows, landing gently on the nape of my neck, sending shivers down my spine. It's a simple yet intimate gesture, filling the space between us with unspoken emotion. Each kiss sends a little jolt through me, but it's tinged with confusion. Good morning, little bird. Roman whispers in a husky tone, sending a shiver through me. Morning, I reply softly, covering his hand with mine. We stay like this for a moment, basking in the comforting silence until the weight of unresolved matters forces its way back into our awareness. Ella, about last night, Roman begins, I shouldn't have snapped at you, baby. I know you were only trying to help me and, honestly, I should have listened to you. I understand you're under a lot of pressure, I reply, not wanting to make him feel worse than he already does. That doesn't give me the right to treat you that way, he says, his grip tightening around me as if to underscore the sincerity of his apology. You didn't deserve it. He takes a deep breath, as though bracing himself, then he turns me around so I'm facing him. I've been under a lot of stress, more than I've ever admitted. It's not just this investigation, it's everything. Vasily's reappearance, your run-in with the Grey Wolf, it's like the ground is shifting beneath me, and I lost sight of the one person who keeps me grounded. That person being me? I ask, my voice tinged with hope but also a hint of reproach. Yes, you, he says, holding my gaze steadily. I pushed you away when I should have been pulling you closer. We have to stand united, especially now, when everything is falling apart. I feel a sense of relief, a lightness I haven't felt in days. I can accept your apology, Roman, but you're going to have to prove that you mean it. His hand reaches up to cup my face, his thumb caressing my cheek. I'm ready to prove it to you, little bird. He finally whispers, his guard crumbling. And to answer your question last night, I don't want to end up alone, but I don't know how to let you in without letting the darkness in, too. Annoyance bubbles up in my chest and I let out a sigh. When I chose you, I chose your darkness, Roman. When will you understand that? You can't keep me safe all the time, not when I'd willingly walk this path with you, I say, taking his stubbled face in my hands. I'm your Luna, but you seem to be forgetting that, and now I feel like I need to remind you. He has a frown on his face as I say this, but then his eyes widen when I quickly flip him over so I'm on top of him. For the first time ever, I see Roman looking shocked, and I can't help but grin. I feel his cock twitch below me as I lean down close to his lips to place a soft kiss. "You had your fill of breakfast the other morning. Now I want mine." The growl rumbling in his chest sends a jolt right to my core, so instead of looking like more of the clearly inexperienced person I am, I shimmy down the length of his hard body and come to a stop right between his legs. When I peer up at him after slipping off his boxers, his gaze sets my entire body alight. I lick my lips and smile up at him, earning me a glorious groan from him. The warmth of Roman's body lingers on my skin as we step into the hotel's dining area, a sharp contrast to the cold tension that filled our room last night. The sun streaming through the large windows lends an almost idyllic touch to the scene, but I can still sense the coil of stress in Roman's posture. He's more subdued this morning, pensive. After pulling out a chair for me, chivalry clearly runs deep in his bones. He sits across the table and briefly schemes the menu. His gaze lifts, locking onto mine. "You know you didn't have to come down for breakfast. You could have ordered room service." I offer a smile, a bittersweet thing that I hope conveys my understanding. I think some fresh air and a change of scenery could do us both some good. Roman nods, but remains silent. His thoughts are elsewhere, and I think I know where. After the awkward silence stretches a minute too long, he finally leans back in his chair and sighs. "Last night, he starts, but I lift my hand, cutting him off. "It's okay, Roman. You're carrying the weight of your pack, the world practically, on your shoulders. I get it." His jaw clenches, but he nods. "Still, I shouldn't have snapped at you. Especially not when you were just trying to help." Guilt pricks me at the edges. I also could have been more understanding. You're dealing with an impossible situation, and here I was, throwing unsolicited advice your way. He smiles, but it doesn't reach his eyes. "You were trying to help, and I should have been more receptive. But you should know that it's not just the murders that are bothering me. There are other elements at play." I lean in, intrigued but cautious. "Such as?" He rubs his temples as if fighting off a headache. "You remember I mentioned Vasily? Kaden told me about him and I met him the other day. What about him?" Roman's eyes meet mine, heavy with a burden I can't quite understand. Vasily is more than just family. He was trained to become the Alpha, just like me. You see, in the Nikolaev lineage, the alpha gene usually manifests around puberty. Until then, and even after, if there's no manifestation, all the heirs train as if they'll be the next alpha. But when I turned 12, the gene made its presence overwhelmingly clear in me, and I was chosen. I became the alpha, and he vanished. And he didn't take that well, did he? I venture. Roman's eyes darken, and I can almost see the memories play out behind them. No, he didn't. He was older and thought the position should be his, regardless. When the elders confirmed that I was to be the next alpha, he left. He couldn't handle it, the shift in power dynamics. "But something else is bothering me since yesterday, something I forgot about," he says. Before Vasily left, he cornered me in my bedroom. With his claws embedded in my chest, right above my heart, he told me, "When you see your empire in ashes one day, you'll know it was me." I never took it seriously until now. My gut churns with unease. "You think he's involved in what's happening now?" Roman hesitates. With Vasily, I've learned not to assume anything. Our relationship has been strained, to say the least. He never really accepted the fact that I was chosen as alpha instead of him. And yet, he's back, I say, more of a statement than a question. "Yes," Roman answers simply, running his hand through his hair. "And I need to find out why. The timing is too perfect, too convenient. Murders in our territory, the cartel issue, your attack by the Grey Wolf, and now, Vasily resurfaces. It's a clusterfuck of problems, and I can't shake the feeling that they're connected somehow." I reach across the table, my hand finding his. "Whatever is happening, we'll figure it out. You don't have to go through it alone." Roman's hand tightens around mine, as if he's clinging to the lifeline I'm offering. I know, and that's what scares me the most. We let the moment linger, a fragile but necessary pause in the labyrinth of chaos that has become our lives. Finally, Roman breaks the silence. We should eat. It's going to be a long day, and I still need to get hold of Caden, he says as he picks up his phone, and I pause. He's my fucking beta, and his silence now is not what I need. You still can't get a hold of Caden? I ask, as a sense of dread floods over me. Roman shakes his head, locking his phone and setting it aside with more force than necessary. No. And it's unlike him. He always picks up, always gets back to me if he can't answer right away. Have you tried Eleanor or Leon? His eyes widen. Gods, I didn't even think about that. Let me try, he says, snatching it from the table again, but that grim expression is there even as he puts the phone back on the table. Nothing. Roman, I think we should go home. I interject, shooting him a serious look. He frowns at my words and is about to ask what when his eyes widen. Fuck, you're right, he says and leaps to his feet while I follow closely behind him. I hear him over the mind link as he assembles his men, even asking some to grab our luggage before we hit the road. The pack is radio silent, and Vasily uttered a threat years ago that seems to be coming into fruition now. There's no way this is a coincidence.